All right, hello everybody. This is Zero Wolf here on the Zero Wolf Gaming channel. So in my previous two videos, my solo survival and space engineers, it was pointed out to me by two of my friends, zerglingstew and Kiki KC8, that I didn't exactly do a really good job of explaining exactly what you needed to do in survival and what was going on when I was building stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and start a new game. I'm gonna be in creative mode this time. That way I don't have to, worry about getting killed and whatnot. Um, so typically when I set up a survival, um, I'll put the assembler efficiency and refinery speed up to 3 times just because they take so long. Inventory size up to 10, welding and grinding up to 2. Um, Being realistic, if you have any of these unrealistic, it's really hard, especially with the inventory size, because you just can't store stuff in your inventory and whatnot. And welding and grinding can take a really long time if the speed's not bumped up, and same with the assembler and refinery speeds and efficiencies. Um, since I have a fairly robust computer, I always do an unlimited world, pretty standard day duration. Um, I'll enable spiders, weapons, third person view, sun rotation, jetpack, voxel destruction, delete respawn ship, player names, thruster damage, cargo ships, tool shake, random encounters, convert to station, spawn with tools, enable drones, remote block removal, no spectator, no reset ownership, no permanent death. Definitely have undestructible blocks, because that's kind of the biggest part of survival. Is if you crash, you're going to lose stuff. Oxygen, turn on air tightness. That does kind of make you lose some performance there, but if your computer can handle it, always go with it. Leave unsupported stations off, because if sometimes if you shoot something off, it'll just hang there in air and it doesn't really look, it looks off. No start and respawn screen, enable wolves, and enable respawn ships. I think in the world generator, I always like to do high density. I'm going to go ahead and leave it on infinite none, since this is just an example. Yeah, so let's go back to creative and let's go on in. Okay, so you get in, you don't want to run out. So almost immediately, let's go ahead and fly up here. You can see that SPRT ore handling facility, keep out over there. That's the closest base, enemy base to you. It's given to the pirate faction. And so as long as that thing is broadcasting that signal, it will spawn drones that will come and fly after you. You can see down there's the SPRT district headquarters, but they're over 30 kilometers away, so they will not. Any drone spawned by that one will not aggro to you instantly. This one will, however. Yep, there it goes. It just spawned a SPRT fleeting rival down there. So that one will be coming at me shortly. Let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and just equip a rifle. I'm going to give myself the elite one. So yeah, this one's going to come at me. And typically I'd hop in the fighter and take it down with missiles, since those are way more effective. But I'm going to go ahead and just fly with the character, since I'm in creative and it doesn't really matter. Show you what this guy looks like. Oh, yep, here he comes. Ooh. Oh, that's a new model. Oh boy. Oh. So you can see it has. Oh wow, that is new. But if you take out that. Take out that jet on him. Do enough damage to his reactors. do it with a gun. It's a little hard, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna... There we go. Bye! Just gonna fall to the ground and probably explode. Yep. Yeah, not much left of him. If you're lucky, you'll be able to salvage these reactors. Now, to go ahead and warn you about these, to do this, inside these have uranium ingots in there, and starting out it's kind of hard to get uranium. So if you grind them down all the way, that uranium will just disappear. So grind them down until the computers are gone, and then weld them back up until the computers are back in there, and then you can access them and take out that uranium ore for yourself. Again, grind out the computers, and so you can see on the right side there. I'll do that again real quick. You see on the right side there how it says small reactor, and then it has steel plate, computer, motor, reactor components, large steel tube. Grind down until you see there's that bar on the left side of it is going down. Once it passes that red and blue line, that means you have ceased its functionality and taken out the computers. So then you can again access it now because you have claimed it as your own. Before it would show you can't access it. It belongs to the pirates. Yeah. So if you're lucky, a few of those might survive shooting that out of the sky. These nice big craters. All right. So then the next thing you're going to want to do is fly over to that ore facility. All right. So now you notice I'm stopping about almost 800 meters out from it. This has 2 turrets on it. It has a missile turret on the back, and facing us there is a Gatling turret. So if you're in your ship, if you go closer, then the Gatling turret is set to 600 meters. So as long as you stay outside of that 600 meters, you can, and the hit range of all guns at maxed is 800 meters. So with your ship, you could use your ship to effectively kind of snipe off that Gatling turret, which I did in my solo survival. If you watch it, you'll notice there he goes. Now he's starting to shoot at me. Yeah, you come in here and wow. Yeah, you can drop him. He has no power. He somehow still has power. Huh. Might be because I'm in creative. Gotta delete that so I don't have to. Oh, sounds like another. Yep, another drone has just spawned. Oh, okay. So this is the model of drone that I had attacking in the beginning. So just delete out his engines if we get close enough. There we go. Bye. That one can survive a little bit better of a crash. You have a little bit better of a chance of getting, you know, stuff that was inside of it, stored inside of it. Oh, it had some oxygen bottles and whatnot. Yeah, those can be pretty critical components when you're first starting out survival, especially the uranium, because you don't start off with reactors. So yeah, once you've taken out that turret, you're pretty much free to come up in here and land. So first thing I did was, if you go inside of here, there's 2 interior turrets there. You know, let me go ahead and get rid of this window real quick so you can see it a little better. So there's these 2 interior turrets that, so if you go in there, they're going to shoot you. And so what you can do is, if you look right here, see where this interior pillar is, you grind down these this armor block, and then the one below it, and really quickly hit your jetpack so you don't fall out. You can take out those two. Another one just spawned, didn't it? Where'd he go? You shooting at me? Oh, you know what? Maybe that was the interior turret. Yeah, that was probably the interior turret. I think they still technically have power because this is creative mode. Boop. Just delete these so they stop shooting me. And then when you're in here, so this is a small reactor like you saw me grind down and claim on the drones. Basically same deal. Go ahead and grind this one down till you get through the computers. There you go. And then you can weld it back up. Access it. Steal the uranium. Go to the control panel. Now that, so like you can see in the control how it's saying these have access denied. You go down to that small reactor, you have access to that small reactor now, and you can turn it off. And that means all the power supply to this whole facility is shut off, and so the signal is off, and it won't spawn any more of those drones. And so they won't be harassing you the whole time while you're trying to build up your base and whatnot. Alternatively, you could just come up here if you didn't want to deal with getting inside and just grind down the antenna. Until it gets to, you know, that point. Until you're past the computers. There might also be... I don't know if you have to... You might have to also grind down this beacon here. But be careful because right here on the other side there's a missile turret. And if this thing is powered, it will pretty much wreck your day. So I highly recommend just going inside, taking out the two interior turrets, and then shutting down the power to this facility. And then you can go ahead and fly on back to your base. Okay, so now once you're back at your base, you've landed your fighter. I'll go ahead and get in your fighter, go into its control panel, find all the reactors, toggle those off, and I also like to go ahead and just create a group for them so that save it, and so that whenever, if I ever need to hop in here and turn it on real quick, that group's right there at the top, so I can just go in and hit on and it'll turn those reactors back on. Also, same thing for batteries. You know, turn them off, create a group for them. So whenever you get back into this thing, you just grab the battery and reactor groups and turn those back on, and you can fly it. I also do the same thing for the other ships. Now, so you will see me do some mining in this as just a single person, just because I don't need that much. But later on, I will be using this ship to mine using these drills that are on it, just because it's a lot faster, a lot more efficient. But anyways, so first off, when you start, you're really going to need some extra power. These, what is it? 16 solar panels. It's just a good idea to add some, just so like during the day, especially when you have sun rotation enabled, because once you get down to night, you're not gonna, you know, you need to have saved up enough power in your batteries to not run out of, you know, obviously not for them to, no, not batteries. Here we go. So now, since I'm being creative, it's just going to spawn the panel in wholesale. But when you first place one, what it will do is, so you have to have at least, you look at these. Here we go. When you look at these, actually, you know what? Here, let me go ahead and turn these turrets off. I actually usually turn this top one off anyways, just because it will. I typically turn this top one off anyways because if you build other stuff out here, sometimes it will shoot it for whatever reason, just because it's in its firing arc. So anyways, when you first building, you need to make sure you have that very last resource on the list, the steel plate, at least one of those in your inventory. So when you place it down, it'll use that one steel plate, and it will look like this. So next, you're going to have to weld, and so in your inventory, you're going to have to make sure you have those components in your inventory. So you'll have to go find construction components, a large steel tube. There's a total of 10 construction components, one large steel tube, 2 computers, and 64 solar cells. You'll find that your inventory is limited. Go ahead and put that uranium away. But so if you go in here and look for your construction components, let's not do all those. You can do 10 construction components. You can. Large steel tubes tend to take up the most room. I'm gonna do one. Nope. Whatever. But yeah, so there. Large steel tubes. You'll need to have the computers and the solar cells. I think there was 60 or so of those. I think that's all we needed. And some steel plate. Some more steel plate. So I think all of these will kind of take up most of your inventory. Also, when you first spawn in, you will be given a grinder, a hand drill, a welder, an automatic rifle, 10 magazines for the automatic rifle. I guess you spawn with a hydrogen bottle and an oxygen bottle. So I forgot to mention, with oxygen on, so when you first spawn, you'll have your helmet on. I highly recommend, since this is a planet with oxygen already in, just press a J, and it'll take off your helmet, as you can see, and just that way you aren't using up your oxygen when you don't need to be. Since you're, obviously already in an atmosphere, and you're not in space yet. So anyways, first building, you have the components in your inventory. Now, since I'm being creative, it's not actually pulling the components out of my inventory, but if you have components in your inventory, you can just go ahead and walk up to this, and when you start welding, it will put all the components that are pieces that this thing needs. It will, kind of, I'd say they tack weld them on. There goes a wolf running by. Yeah, so then it will put all those in, and you sit here and you weld. Now, so you see that blue line that the progress bar is coming up to. Once you get to that blue line, I think that's where ownership is established. So this panel will be owned by me, and the pirates will recognize it as an enemy, and the FTC faction, which I'm in, I'll talk a little bit more about factions in a bit, will recognize it as a friendly panel. And then once I get past that red bar, that means it's now functional. I don't have to put the rest of those construction components in. I will, however, because that does affect how many hits the solar panel can take. before breaking. And as you notice, so this has 4 little green lights. So if sunlight's not directly hitting this, like if it's off at an angle, like early morning or late afternoon, you'll notice these lights actually go down. So if it's at 4, it's obviously receiving maximum sunlight, and if it's less, it's 75%, 50%, 25% type deal. So yeah, when you first start out, you probably want to build another 4 solar panels here. This orientation thing always messes with me. At least another 4, and then I always like to have just a plethora of batteries, just to be, safe. And so the really kind of cool thing about this game is all different parts have different functions and whatnot. And so they will have, so for batteries, it'll have option to just recharge, just discharge, or you can set it semi-auto, which is pretty much the best setting, and it will automatically start discharging when if your energy usage on the base goes up higher than what your solar panels or reactors, if you won't have reactors starting out, are taking. And then it will recharge if you're producing more energy than your base needs. So yeah, typically a good idea to just go ahead and go through all these and set them. Also probably a good idea to make a group for them. And set them all to semi-auto. That way you're just having a thing. And so you saw me go ahead and pull the components out from this container. So in order to create components, this has a rather a logical system to it. So it's first thing I always find myself needing is solar cells. So when I do, I'm gonna add these solar cells over to that production queue. If you hold down Shift, it'll increase by 100. If you hold down Control when you click on it, it'll increase by 10. I always, like to put, somewhere around 1,000 in there. And then, so you'll notice you don't have any over here. You'll see stored materials. So the production, it's the assembler you'll have 2 assemblers. If you go into your control panel, these are what actually make those components, these 2. And if you check them into I highly recommend checking them into cooperative mode. That means they'll work together to actually build these cells, and it won't be just one assembler building them or the other. And so you set up these solar cells into the production queue, and you'll notice that you need nickel ingots and silicon wafers here to produce these. And you'll notice you have 20 nickel ingots out of the required 3,370 available. So just to start out, you have enough nickel ingots to produce a few of these, and then you need silicon wafers. So in order to get these silicon wafers, first obviously you have to mine some silicon. So that you pull out your drill, you come over here, and now the reason you can see that silicon, nickel, and iron is you have this little base thing here that has a battery and an ore detector. That's this kind of cylindrical thing sticking out of that box, and a antenna. So that antenna is broadcasting what this ore detector is seeing. So now you find that, you see that silicon symbol, you're going to drill down, right, and so you'll see silicon ore. So you'll pick up that silicon ore, and once you pretty much fill up your inventory, you can see over on my left side there where it has the status, the lower left corner there where it has all the status of my suit and my health, my oxygen and hydrogen. You see that volume. So with 10 times, the volume is about 4,000. You can fill yourself up. Now you come over here, and you can take that silicon ore that you mined, put it in this container, and since this container is conveyed to the refineries, so now these refineries will take the silicon ore and turn them into silicon wafers. Once they're turned into silicon wafers, you'll start seeing your production start because you've fulfilled that silicon wafer requirement. And then you can get your solar cells and then go and build the rest of your solar panels. So that's pretty much the essentials of what you have to do to build. Now, so kind of like as a objective, I'll typically set up for myself to first go and take out that SBRT district headquarters. Like I did that mining facility. Eventually I will probably go over to that mining facility and disassemble it and, claim the parts and use them to build stuff here. So what I will probably do is I will probably build a ship onto this base. Like I will use these solar panels and somehow build under and around them, and essentially eventually convert the base into a flying ship for myself. And so yeah, and then use that to eventually get off the planet. I'll probably go try and visit those planets you see out over there. Okay, so that was about as brief of an explanation of starting out in Space Engineer Survival as I could make. There's a lot more to it, so I will try to make an explanation of some of the blocks and connecting stuff later on. So, as usual, thanks for watching. Leave me a comment below, and I will see you next time.